All right, what's up, everybody? It's Brian the Gamer Guy here, and if you are new to this channel is very much a Let's Play channel. There is the impressions part of this channel, which I'm slowly growing, but I mean it's definitely a slower kind of grow there because it takes time to do those when you're working full time and stuff. It takes time to edit. Now, as I'm getting more comfortable with DaVinci and things, I'm doing better with it. And I'm getting faster with it. In fact, the last episode that I put up was my impressions on the Alabaster Dawn demo, and I put that together in about an hour and a half. So I am actually starting to get more comfortable with DaVinci and more fluent with it. So I do want to kind of grow this section of the channel a little bit more too, besides just the Let's Plays and the Let's Tries. So, anyways, I'm going to do something a little bit different for this part of the channel, and that's kind of going to be to show off the games that I've bought over the years and collected over the years. Um, so I kind of figured that was my biggest thing when I watched people on YouTube. I really liked it when I could see people's collections, when they would talk about things they liked about a game, like a review, you know what I'm saying? Or if they talked about what they liked about a series, like their favorite in a series and why it was a favorite. I liked all those things. I liked Let's Plays. I liked reviews. I liked people showing off their game collection and just talking about the good old days. So I think if I'm going to run this channel and stuff, I think that's one thing I want to do too is, give y'all a little bit of insight about the kind of gamer I was and my experiences with these games that I bought. So this will be a pretty long series of videos because I'll try to keep them 20 minutes. And I've got a lot of games to show off, physical copies. So, and if I talk about all of them, it's going to be several videos. So, anyways, let's get started now. Before we start showing off the physical games, I would like to say that, I've kind of stopped collecting for the time being. Or I've stopped collecting a long time ago. I probably haven't bought a physical copy of a game in like 6 years, 7 years even. It's been a long time since I bought a physical copy of a game. So I've gone mostly digital, and I did that in a lot of ways because, I've moved so much in my life. Like I get so tired of packing up all those games and hauling all those games and stuff, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, truth be told, maybe if I could sit down and settle down in a place for a long time, then maybe I would go ahead and go back to collection. Although I don't know if I would um, in some respects either, because I mean, man, I've got other financial things I'm worried about, like I'm trying to, prepare for retirement and all that stuff. And collection has gotten so expensive if you're trying to get retro, if you're trying to go back to the PlayStation and the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo and the Sega Saturn and all that. It's getting expensive. It's not like it was when I bought stuff. When I bought stuff, you bought it in a bargain bin, and used games just were not considered worthy, and you could get stuff cheap. When you were looking for games, you're like, oh, dude, this looks pretty cool. It's harder to do that now. So even if I did start collecting again, it would be just the games I'm buying. Oh, Octopath Traveler Zero Part Two is out. I'm going to buy that. Dragon Quest Four, Reimagined is out. I'm going to buy it. Probably would not be going back to retro. But anyways, for the time being, I'm digital, and I'm okay with being digital. So before we start with the physical games, let me kind of turn off the camera right quick, and we'll go into my Steam page, and you can kind of see how much I have bought since then, just since going digital and stuff. And it would be crazy because if I just kept buying physical, my physical collection would be pretty dang big. Okay, so give me 1 second to pause. We'll turn off the camera and we'll go there. All right, be right back. All right, so we're back. Okay, now this is my Steam library, and there's like a lot, so I'll just kind of go through very quickly. This isn't going to be a talk about all this stuff. You can kind of just see the kind of gamer I am from just some of this stuff. I mean, I vary. I'm mostly a JRPG player, but I do vary some. There's some dips into Western games. There's some dips into some shooters. Like, look, you see Bioshock there, and of course there's the Avernum games, from Spiderweb. Like I like those. There's old school BG, and that. I mean, so I do get into Western games from time to time as well. But what you're going to see, here's some RPG Maker games, but you're going to see a lot of JRPGs. I mean, look at this. There's a Atelier Ryza. I mean, lots and lots of JRPG kinds of things. There's Bloodstained, the Caligula Effect. And some of this, this might be from some of this that's like more from the ex-wife. Bravely Default 2. So lots of the Castlevania games. So I mean, as you can see, I have been still gaming and still buying over the years, just not for physical. Some crafting survival games. I do get into those from time to time. And I'm not great at them. Me and my best friend, we finally did beat Terraria, but that's slow. Some more RPG Maker titles. I like the Dancing Dragon games. Some Idea Factory Compile Heart stuff right there. So see, ooh yes, Disgaea. All right, just going through real quick. Yeah, Square Enix. There's that one. But look, there's Dragon Quest. There's all the ones I've been playing this year. Here's where I started my channel, right there. Dragon Quest 3. Hard to believe it's been 6 months now. So see, Edge of Eternity. I mean, there's a lot of JRPGs coming in on here. Yes, I do like first-person dungeon crawlers. You got Etrian Odyssey, and yes, I still do like Western ones. Fallout 3 was pretty good. The original Fallout's were good. So, yep, some of the Final Fantasies. But if you see, I'm not a Final Fantasy nut because I got the Pixel remaster of 1 and 2. I was very, very, very unimpressed with how they did Pixel remaster 1. It's like they made it easier. I mean, they balanced and stuff, but they made it easier, and it just wasn't fun being so easy. Um, but love this edition of Final Fantasy 4. But yes, I am a Final Fantasy fan. Even though I don't have all of the Pixel remasters and all of it right there, it's still there. I love Final Fantasy. So yes, as you can see, and of course some action RPGs, more JRPG dungeon crawlers. Okay, I totally am planning to do like a talk about the Toho games. Oh my gosh, if you guys have not played these RPGs and stuff, these are pretty good. Now this one's more of a first person dungeon crawler. But it's good. It's like really one of the best I've played. The Last Remnant. People might have hated that game. I loved it. Can't get it anymore on Steam though. They took it off and didn't put the enhanced edition they were doing on Steam yet. There's some trails. Mega Man Battle Network. More RPG Maker stuff. Metaphor, love it. Okay, and so you see some Western there. There's Moonring. This was made by one of the developers of Fable, and it's a pretty dang good Western RPG. It's really good actually, and it's free. So if you want that one, try that one. There's Octopath, but I don't have two. I have two on the Switch for some reason. So, and yes, I've got stuff on the Switch that I've bought. Some stuff on the PlayStation 3 that I've bought digitally. So this isn't all of the digital, but as you can kind of see, we're going to kind of go faster. This this is where I've been doing a lot of buying here lately, and so gosh, ooh, Yakuza, yes, like a dragon now. Yeah, some wizardry too. I mean, hard, but I love them. So yeah, that's me as a gamer as a whole. But anyways, that's not what this video is going to be about. This series is going to be about my physical copies and what memories I had with those kinds of games. Um, so let's get started with that. I'm going to pause. I'll be right back, and we'll start showing off and talking about some of these games. All right, be right back. All right, and first on the list is that's right, Earthbound. And let's kind of get a. So, yes, I do absolutely own this game. It's got the manual, it's got all the stuff in there. I'm not going to open the box, and yeah, the box is kind of damaged. It's been at my grandma's house for several years, and of course, they didn't have the same mentality that I do about taking care of the games. They're gamers, by the way. Um, you know, my grandpa, when he was still alive, ugh, cameras are weird. Okay, he was a gamer and he played RPGs a lot. And my grandma did too for a time. So they have a lot of my Super Nintendo games and my Nintendo games and stuff. They just kind of are over there. And the truth is, I mean, I'm not asking for those in a way because, I mean, they still kind of play them, or at least my grandma does from time to time. And, and I figured, like, as a family, we all grew up. My cousin, and my brother, and so it would just feel weird to take all those. But I did grab my copy of Earthbound. I'm like, no, it's worth too much, and it just needs to be taken care of. So I do have that. Now let's talk about Earthbound. That was a game I remember when I was in sixth grade. I absolutely loved the concept of Earthbound. When I started seeing it in the Nintendo Power magazines and all, I just had to have it. I was so excited for it, and I was in sixth grade at the time, so I mean, I couldn't just go buy it. So I had to wait and wait and wait the agonizing year until my birthday, and it was just, and it was a lot. I mean, it cost over $60 at the time, and so I was lucky to have gotten it for my birthday. But gosh, when I opened that game up and just started playing it, everything about that game was just amazing. I mean, the combat, I loved the old Dragon Quest style combat. I loved the aspects of it, how the weaker enemies would just get beat up. I love the ticking down system. When you could actually survive if you were quick enough with those heals, even if you got a hit that was fatal. The world was just so kooky, but yet it was like in that modern setting, which was different for the time, and it just that game was great. It was many good memories. So, I mean, I for one, absolutely am always going to love Earthbound, and I'm always going to talk about that game. It's just a good game. I mean, and if you can't find a copy of it, because I mean, let's be honest, they're selling the copies of that for like the cartridge itself, just the cartridge would go for like 500, and that right there could go for like 1500. It's pretty ridiculous to get it. So I mean, play it on the Switch. They have it on the Switch thing if you pay for the service. Emulate it, like play it somehow though if you have it. And if you're a JRPG fan, it's one of those. I think when you do, you'll like it. I loved it. I mean, created many childhood memories and stuff. And I mean, I probably liked it better than Chrono Trigger in a lot of ways. It just jived with me. All right, so that being said, let's go for some other games. Be right back. All right, we're back. Okay, so yeah, so anyways, these are in totes. So they're in totes. There's no rhyme or reason to any of these. I'm going to start pulling them out, taking them out of the tote, and putting them aside as I talk about these. And that way we know. And so yeah, I also figured it out. I should have had a stack of these just sitting here anyways instead of just pausing and going back to the tote. So yay me, win for me. But anyways, I do have a stack here, so I can go a little bit faster, and these ones will probably conclude the video. All right, so we have for the PlayStation. Um, oh, sideways. We have Saga Frontier. Absolutely, Saga Frontier. This game, absolutely was my second experience into the Saga games because I unknowingly, played Saga when I played Final Fantasy Legend 3 on the Game Boy. But this was my actual second experience of Saga. And, I was pretty confused about it at first because we never gotten those in the States. So when we were all looking at it in the magazines and stuff, we were thinking very linear, I mean, story driven Final Fantasy, epic because there's seven different playable characters and stuff. That's what we were thinking. A lot of us, once we got it, I was like, "What? Where do I go? What do I do? Oh my gosh! I just walked into a dragon. Oh my gosh! I don't know what to do. I'm stuck." And so at first, I was really taken aback, and it took me some time to get into it, and it took me some time to really get to where I was able to get good at it and play. And it took a lot of experimentation, exploration, and stuff. My first character playthrough was Blue, I believe, and it was pretty hard. But I will say I did get to the end of it. I did beat it with Blue, and then after that, you kind of learn a lot of the powers with the power ups, the good weapons, a lot of that stuff. You learn where it is. You learn a good leveling spot. And then you know what to do. And so all the rest of the characters just went real fast. I mean, I was able to finish each mission in about each character in about 7 hours after that. Like, Blue took like 15 hours or more. I mean, but then after that, I was good at the game, and I just started killing it and crushing it. So it was a good experience, and I fell in love with the combo system, the battle system, how you leveled up by usage versus just having levels. I loved every last bit of that game once I got into it, and I fell in love with the Saga series because of Saga Frontier. And it's still probably my favorite in the series, to be real honest. I mean, I like it the best. I wish they would do another one similar to it, you know, and hopefully they will as we continue to see success with Romancing Saga 2 remake and stuff. That went really well. I'm hoping to see more of those kinds of games and some more Saga Frontier type, futuristic, mixed with the medieval. Loved it. Okay, so that was Saga Frontier 1. And we also have, drum roll please. Okay, Saga Frontier 2. All right, so yep, that's Saga Frontier 2. And sorry, I'm bad with everything. Showing stuff on a webcam is harder than it looks. I really probably need to invest in a video cam that can be moved easier. The webcam, I mean, it works with OBS, but man, it's harder. And plus, the resolution's off, because I don't have a USB 3 port in this computer. What the heck? And so it's just not the strongest, sharpest image because of that. Anyways, Saga Frontier 2. After playing the first one, I loved it so much that I had to have the second one. The second one was different, though. I mean, because the second one kind of was linear in a lot of ways, and you were filtered in through Will and Gustav's storylines, and you didn't have the same amount of freedom and stuff. So it was different, and your weapons broke, and you had to be very conservative with your weapons. Um, so it was a different experience for sure, but yet it had all the same battle systems, all the same things that I just loved about Saga Frontier. A lot of that stuff was still present, and in some ways it was even more. There were more weapon types, there were more spell types and stuff, and there was a lot more strategy. You had to know a lot more to be able to do that game. It was just harder. And so it still was a very very fun time for me, and I still really loved it. I was probably like in eighth grade when I played that one. um, and I still fondly remember it. And I beat it the first time, and then I went back and played it when I was like 33, beat it again, and I bought both Saga Frontier 1 and Saga Frontier 2 remastered on Steam. And, I love those because the Saga Frontier 2 adds things to the story. They add the mining or whatever that was with the fossils that got taken out. So you can link your characters. So there's a reason to grind the older characters so they can link up to your newer characters later on. They did some good things. And then Saga Frontier, they put back in Fuse. And so you got the super boss if you want to fight it. So those are pretty good. I would check them out. Okay. So now we have, and yes, I know I jumped to PlayStation 2, Final Fantasy 12. Okay, and also this has the demo copy of Dragon Quest 8 in it. Um, so Final Fantasy 12, a lot of people hate it, love it, whatever. I will say the story was off. That's the one thing I will say. The story was just off. I mean, in a lot of ways, it was just so weird. It's like they were like Van's the main character, and then the problem was Van really was shallow, and he didn't really ever develop much past the first part of the game, I thought. And it was really like Ash, the princess, seemed to be more the main character, and it was the story of her trekking through to save her kingdom. And they were like, well, it's going to be a sky pirate theme, and there's only like one village where you're in the sky. The rest of the time you're like on the ground walking. So the story didn't beat so well, but oh my gosh, the gameplay, I loved it. I loved how big the zones were. I loved the MMO style gameplay. I loved the board system. I was into it. And I loved how it was hard. Like you could go wander into a cave, and you would get killed because those were high level monsters. It would like combine some of that linear with the old school where you could wander and explore and get yourself killed. Like loved it. Like the bounties and stuff were challenging. It was just a good game. I thought I had fun with it. So though I thought the story was a little bit wonky and stuff, the gameplay and all that to me was fantastic, and it's still a favorite. In fact, I did recently when I first moved to this little town here 7 years ago. I did buy the Zodiac Age. You probably saw it in my Steam library, and I absolutely played a lot of it. Now I didn't beat it, but I played it, and I was experimenting with the new board system, the one that was added in and stuff, since I already did the old board system, and still was having a great time with it. Okay, so this will be the last game for this video. I don't want to keep these videos running too long. And I think, let me see time. Sorry. Yeah, that'll be good time. And yes, guys, I'll say it time and time again, I'm like literally legally blind, so I have to look down. I can't see the numbers on that clock without getting closer. It's one of the reasons why, if you watch my Let's Plays, you don't ever see me do the camera past the first introduction, because you don't. I mean, like, I'm not going to sit there and be like this the whole time, you know. It's just, I don't find that to be flattering. I don't think anybody's going to find that flattering when you see the top of my head all the time, because I'm looking down and trying to read the screen and stuff. So, I mean, I probably would keep the camera on if it wasn't for that. I'd probably even stream those if it wasn't for that. But the thing is, I'm just going to be doing this all the time. And then I'm going to have a hard time keeping up with the chat and playing the game. So I'm not streaming, and I'm not keeping the camera on the whole time. Just for the introductions. Okay, last game. And this is not a JRPG. This is. Oh, wait. Sorry. Okay, hold on. I'm all like, reshow. Okay, last game. Fatal Frame. Okay, now this is a survival horror game, and I do love survival horror games. Resident Evil was a big one for me. I played all of the Resident Evil games. Um, and yeah, even when Resident Evil started shifting to action, I still liked them. I mean, I didn't like them the same. They were, but I still liked them. Fatal Frame is just fun. It's like you get a camera and it's first person. When you aim the camera and you fight ghosts with that camera, and you can level up the camera, but you do the survival horror things where you find film and you have limited resources and you solve puzzles and slowly get to the thing. When I saw this at my video store, I was like, dude, I love this. Looks cool. I got it. I fell in love with it. And what was I back then? Early college. By then, I was 20, I think. Um, Whereas Final Fantasy 12, I mean, I was mid college. I was getting towards the end of college. I was like in my last year of college. I mean, so I was about 23, 24 at the time I played Final Fantasy 12. But Fatal Frame, I was a little bit younger. But that game blew me away too. I mean, loved it, and then played the second one. I haven't played the third one, and I haven't played the newer ones they put out in Steam. I need to, because I have a lot of fond memories of that game. All right, and I have a lot of fond memories of all of those games. Earthbound, captured my imagination. The Saga games introduced me to some cool battle mechanics. You know, Final Fantasy 12 was just different. It shook it up a little bit. It was less linear, more exploration. All those games are good memories. And I bought those games wanting to play. And that's my collection didn't grow because I was collecting. My collection grew because I just played. I mean, when I found something, I bought it because I wanted to play it, and I just played. So all these games, I've played them, beaten most of them, and if not beaten, I've at least gotten far in them. All right. So, anyways, that's the first episode in this series. We'll keep doing this. I'm kind of excited to do this. I mean, and maybe you guys kind of know a little bit more about the kind of gamer I am and some of my memory of the past and how I felt about those games. Thank y'all for watching, and we will do another one of these pretty soon. All right, till next time.